Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the STEM Digital School. This is grade 6 in Natural Sciences and Technology. My name is Onkarabise Sitsoe, and guys, we will be continuing with term 2 revision. So I hope everyone is well and ready to tackle the last part of our revision. So morning Mukona as well as Tukelwa, seeing you responding in the group chat. All right, guys, just a few ground rules. Ne? Please do not switch on your videos or webcams. Right? Please do not switch on your videos or webcams, and let us use the group chat only to talk about things that we're doing in class. Okay, so let's not deviate with the topics in the group chat. Okay, so remember, if you do want to ask a question, you can raise your hand or you can type the question in the group chat. If you want to answer, you can also write in the group chat or raise your hand. So I see Tembega, Zik, Amohelo, Cebu, they're also up and ready to start with the lesson. All right, cool. So as said, guys, next week, Thursday, we're having an assessment on the 23rd. Yeah? We're having the Natural Science and Technology assessment or test. Okay, and then I said the scope is every topic in life and living as well as matter and materials. And so far, guys, we have covered all the topics. Right, so today we're just gonna cover the last two topics that are remaining. So those are the two topics that we're gonna revise today. And yep, let's get into it. Okay, so before we start, so today's topic is mixtures and water resources. So you guys can just turn on the page in your textbooks or your summaries and notes, and then we can just quickly go through mixtures as well as water resources. So yesterday we looked at mixtures, and my question to you guys is, what is a mixture? What is a mixture? You can raise your hand or you can type it in the group chat. What is a mixture? Okay, see Kia, talk to me.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
How are you, Kia?
I'm fine, and how are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Okay. The meaning of mixture is, from my side, I think that a mixture is when two substances are mixed together.
All right, so it's two or more substances, Kia.
Ma'am?
I'm saying that it is two or more substances. All right, but you are on the right track with the definition of a mixture. Thank you. Thank you very much, and well done for that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, so as we heard from Kia, that a mixture is the two or more substances that are mixed together. So we also looked at soluble substances as well as insoluble substances. And my next question is, what is a soluble substance? What is a soluble substance? What is a soluble substance? All right, so let's see, Cebu, talk to me. How are you?
I'm good, and you, ma'am?
I'm well, thanks.
A soluble substance is a substance that can dissolve in a solvent.
All right, or it can dissolve in water, right? All right, thank you very much, Cebu, for that beautiful answer. Okay. Okay, and my next question is, what is an insoluble substance? So Cebu said a soluble substance is a substance that can dissolve in a solvent or that can dissolve in water. And my next question is an insoluble substance. Okay, Kamohelo, it's here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Awesome.
An insoluble substance is a substance that will not dissolve in a solvent or water, even after mixing.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, so Kamahela says an insoluble substance is a substance that would not dissolve in water or in a solvent. All right, so since you guys know what a mixture is, a soluble substance as well as an insoluble substance, this topic should be fairly easy for you guys. All right, so let me hear here, Kia.
Ma'am,
Yes. Do you have a
can you
question? I
repeat the
see.
question?
Oh,
Yes, I
no, thing
wanted
is,
you to repeat your question. I didn't hear
oh,
you nicely, the
oh, okay.
connection.
All right, cool. So I was asking what a soluble substance is, right? And I also asked
Oh,
what is in, okay? Yes, you can ask
a
that.
soluble substance is a substance that can dissolve in water, and a insoluble substance is a substance that cannot dissolve in water. For an example, a substance that can dissolve in water is sugar, and then a substance that cannot dissolve is sand.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much for those beautiful answers, Kia. I see you are paying attention in class. All right,
Thank you, ma'am.
awesome. Okay, so let's get on with the business of the day, mixtures and water resources. So you guys should keep in mind the definition of a mixture, a soluble substance as well as an insoluble substance, because we are going to come across those things as we're looking at mixtures and water resources. Okay, firstly, natural substances which are found in water. So thing is, in the environment, many natural substances mix with fresh water or they dissolve in it. And we're going to look at some of those examples. Okay, see what we have here. So water can dissolve many substances. If you guys remember, we did say that water is a very good solvent. Okay, and then in the environment, many natural substances mix with fresh water or dissolve in it. Some examples include oxygen. Okay, so in terms of oxygen, the oxygen dissolves in water is essential for respiration of all plants and animals that grow or live in water. And if you remember from the lesson that we had with regards to mixtures and water resources, we said that these plants and animals are called aquatic plants or aquatic animals. All right, then we have carbon dioxide, which is also a natural substance that dissolves in water. Okay, guys, just indicate for me if I can move on to the next slide. I'm sorry, I think I went too fast there for some of you. Can I move on to the next slide or should I wait a bit? Yeah, I see a yes. Can I please get 5 responses? Can I move on to the next slide? Okay, 2, 3. 4. Okay, I see a no. Okay, so I'll just give you guys a minute to jot down what you probably do not have in your notes. Okay, no problem. So oxygen is one of the natural substances that can dissolve in water or mix with water. Okay, so Mokona, you can just indicate for us when you're done. And we saying that the oxygen dissolves in water. Okay, Sikia hand is up. Talk to me, Kia.
Thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to ask a question.
All right, no problem.
Sorry, that was my sister. I just wanted to ask a question.
All right, cool. You can ask your question.
Okay. How does the oxygen dissolve in the water?
Okay, how does oxygen dissolve in water? Okay, so if you know, no, it's just repeating your question so that everyone can hear your question. Okay, so Gia is asking, how does oxygen dissolve in water? So water, right, it is a mixture already. Water is made up of hydrogen molecules as well as oxygen molecules. Okay, so before we even get oxygen from the air that would mix in water, water already has this oxygen because it's made up of hydrogen molecules as well as oxygen molecules. So that is how it gets mixed in the water. Yes. So I don't think you guys have read about molecules, right? Okay, cool. Yeah. So you will learn about oxygen molecules as well as hydrogen molecules when you get to grade 7 as well as grade 8. Okay, so this will be when you do elements. All right. Okay, so we can move on, right? Okay, cool. Okay, so another substance, natural substance that dissolves in water is carbon dioxide. So some sunlight penetrates deep below the water, the surface of the water. So that is how would get the carbon dioxide to be entering the water. Then carbon dioxide is dissolved in water, supports the life cycle not only of these plants, but also of the fish and other living things that feed on them. Then our next natural substance that dissolves in water or gets mixed up with water is nitrogen dioxide. Okay, so nitrogen dioxide is one of the two natural gases that dissolve in rainwater, and one of the gases is carbon dioxide that we just looked at now. Okay, and it makes water slightly acidic. Right, so it makes water slightly acidic. And the weakly acidic rain helps the slow process of weathering rocks. You guys remember we spoke about weathering rocks and we said that it is the breakdown of rocks. Okay, then the gases nitrogen and oxygen in the air combine to form nitrogen dioxide when lightning flashes. All right, so I'll just give you guys a minute to just jot down anything that you might see important. So guys, just remember now, the important thing here is just to know the natural substances, okay, that might dissolve in water. So in this case, in the previous slide, we looked at oxygen as well as nitrogen dioxide. And so these bullets under every natural substance are just an explanation, okay? So that is just for enrichment purposes. You don't need to know in deep detail how these substances work, but you just need to know the function of each and what they are. Okay. Right, cool. So can I move on to the next slide? Guys can use that yes button. Like, yes. Or can type it in the group chat. All right. Okay, I see a no. No problem. I'll wait a bit. I'll wait a bit. Okay, so Shakira, there is a student who needs me to just wait a bit to give them a few seconds or minutes so that they can add on to their notes. So are you guys ready for the test on Thursday? You guys ready for the test on Thursday? Are you prepared? Okay, so Tukello, just also indicate for me when you're done. All right, okay. Looks like we are going to move on. And then we have minerals that also dissolve in water. So these are very small amounts of different minerals which dissolve in water and they flow in streams and rivers, but they are not found in rainwater. Okay, so the reason they're not found in rainwater is because these minerals do not evaporate. Okay. Then some minerals are important for particular reasons. For example, the development of strong bones and calcium. And we said that, sorry, for the development of strong bones and teeth. And we said that the mineral that is good for the development of strong bones and teeth is calcium. Okay. Right, so this is why water that flows in streams is usually better for you than rainwater. Okay, then we getting to water pollution. Water pollution. When is water clean? Or when can we say that water is clean? Just quick hands and quick answers. And okay, when can we say water is clean? Just as we're still giving others a chance to write down, to jot down what they need. When can we say water is clean? Give me answers, guys. Give me answers, please. When can we say water is clean? Or when is water clean? Right, Talia.
Morning, ma'am.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm well, thanks.
I think water is clean when it is safe to drink.
Okay, so if water is safe to drink, then what is it free of?
Of germs and polluted stuff.
All right, beautiful.
Okay.
So we can say that water is clean when it is free of pollutants, because all those germs and everything else, it's called pollutants, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much, Talia. Okay, awesome. So Talia says that water is clean when it is safe to drink, and when water is safe to drink, it is when it does not have germs and all other pollutants. Okay, so we say water is clean when it is free of pollutants. Okay, water is clean when it is free of pollutants. Okay, so I see in the group, here says after it is cleaned. Cebu says when water is filtered by the rocks at the bottom of the river, and then, okay, there we go. Beautiful, guys, beautiful. Okay, so pollutants are substances or objects that do not naturally belong in the water, and they are harmful to us as well as the environment. Okay, so water can be polluted by the following: insoluble substances. So you guys remember what insoluble substances? These are substances that do not dissolve in water. Examples is oil, plastics, tires, tins, glass, and toilet waste, which might be found in water. So these things pollute water. All right, so guys, remember I did ask you to make summaries and notes on the topics. Okay, so we're supposed to just go through the work and discuss. And you guys just make quick add-ons here and there. Okay. Because these are things that we have already went through and we also have looked at them. Okay, so if you are done, just indicate for me now. If you are done, just indicate for me that you're done so we can move on. Right, so I see here saying like underwears. All right, cool. So you're saying that it does not belong in water and it is also insoluble. Right, that is correct, Kia. So fabrics do not belong in water because it is insoluble. Okay. All right, so we will move on. Awesome. So just as I said, that water can be polluted by insoluble substances. We had an example in the group given by Kia telling us that fabric also is an example of an insoluble substance. We also have other insoluble substances here on the slide, which is oil, plastics, tires, tins, glasses, as well as toilet waste. Then soluble substances such as soap, fertilizer, insecticides, acids, and other poisons. Okay, so these are substances that can dissolve in water. All right. Then other pollutants include living germs. So this might be from toilet waste that cause waterborne diseases such as diarrhea. All right. So just indicate for me if I can move on to the next slide. All right, cool. Okay, so the next slide is thinking about pollution. Thinking about pollution. So we're going to discuss pollution. The following pictures are different polluted water sources, and questions that follow are meant to guide the discussion. Okay, so remember we did have this discussion during our lesson where we looked at mixtures as well as water resources. So in the first picture, we have an oil spill. In the second picture, we have pollution on the coast, and I think that is a garbage bin, and we can see tires. And then in the third picture, we can see people have been using the stream as to dump rubbish. Okay, and then on this picture that's appearing right now on screen, it's pollution in a pond. See plastic bottles as well as polystyrene, I think, or foamy thingies there. And then the polluted river looks like a wire or trolley or something like that in the river. Okay, so these are things that are not supposed to be there. Right, so the discussion is going to be quick. All right, so just if you guys are willing to answer, just raise your hands, then we can start from there. Eh? So I'm just gonna put up a question on screen. The people whose hands are up can answer, right? So that it can be a fast moving discussion. Firstly, consider the previous pictures and make a list of all objects that do not belong in the water. I mentioned some of the objects, which were plastic bags, tires, paper, polystyrene bottles, trolley, tins. Yeah, you can keep your hand up. There's more questions coming through. Metal rubbish bin, oil, domestic waste, etc. Okay. Here, what are the three main categories of pollutants found in water?
The three main categories are insoluble, soluble, and what are they? I don't remember the last one.
Living germs.
Oh, living germs.
Yes, thank you very much, Kia. Okay, so the three main pollutants which are found in water is insoluble pollutants, soluble pollutants, as well as disease-causing bacteria, or you could say living germs. All right, next question. Which category of pollutants would you be able to see with your naked eye? Which category of pollutants would you be able to see with your naked eye? Okay, Cebu,
Thank you, ma'am.
awesome.
It's the insoluble substances.
Okay, so the insoluble substances, we would be able to see it with our naked eye. Okay, Kamahela, keep your hand up. There's more questions coming through. So that is true, Cebu. It is insoluble substances. Next question. Which category of pollutants would you not be able to see with your naked eye? Okay, Kamahelo.
Thank you, ma'am. The categories of pollutants which we could not see with our naked eye is the bacteria.
It's bacteria. So can we see the soluble substances with our naked eye?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, which one is your final answer? Yes or no?
Yes.
We can see soluble substances. Oh, you muted yourself, Samahed. Okay, thank you very much for that answer. So the categories that we cannot see with our naked eye is the soluble pollutants as well as the living germs. Remember, we're saying that the soluble substances, they dissolve in water. Okay, so these substances, they dissolve in water. Okay. Okay, Mokona, we're just having a discussion, all right? So there's no need to just add on, or you can just listen to the discussion. Maybe there is something that... So Mokona, remember, these three main categories, we've already wrote them down. We did them in the previous slide. And we had already mentioned that insoluble substances do not dissolve in water. Okay, so there's nothing on the slide that is new to what you have already written before. All right. Okay. All right, so next question. Hands, please, Nick. How do you think insoluble pollutants end up in water? How do you think insoluble pollutants end up in water? Kia?
The way I think insoluble pollutants end up in water is that people throw the insoluble pollutants in water.
All right.
As if it's a garbage bin or something.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Gia.
Thank you, ma'am.
Gia says that people throw these insoluble substances in water. So Kello, keep your hand up rather, and we will also just give you the next question. So people allow garbage to fall in the water instead of placing it in the garbage bag for collection, and we may even use water as a toilet releasing germs into the water. Okay, so our next question is, how do you think soluble pollutants end up in water? Tokello?
For example, when animals go to the river and then they throw all their waste there.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So is toilet waste a soluble substance or a soluble pollutant?
A soluble substance, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Soluble substance? What is a soluble substance? Give me the definition quickly.
A soluble substance is something that can be something or particle that can be, how can I say this? That can dissolve in water.
Okay. All right, cool. So a soluble substance is something that can dissolve in water. Né? So now how do you think a soluble substance might end up in water?
I have no idea.
You don't have an idea. Okay, cool. I'll help you. All right. Okay, so a soluble substance can end up in water when rainwater washes away fertilizers and pesticides from farmlands, and it ends up entering the rivers and other water sources. So remember we said that fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, and other forms of poisons, they are soluble substances because they dissolve in water. Okay, so Tokelo, I hope you are good with this example. So you can also just write it down so that you do not forget it. Okay, so Talia in the group says that this is my summary for water. This is my summary. Water pollution is the bodies of water. Whoa, okay. Okay, so she says water pollution is my summary for water pollution, bodies of water such as lakes, rivers, seas, oceans, and underground water. It occurs when pollutants reach these bodies of water without treatment. Okay, that is correct. Waste from homes, factories, and other buildings get into the water bodies. As a result, it gets contaminated. All right, beautiful, Talia. So that is indeed how water pollution occurs. Okay, so you can just also note that we have soluble pollutants, insoluble pollutants, as well as living germs. Okay, so Kia gives another example saying that when people pee in the river, it's also an example of how soluble pollutants end up in water, and that is true. Okay. Right, so I just need an indication from you guys if I can move on. Can I move on to the next slide? Yes or no? No or yes? Yeah, I see a yes, yes, yes. All right, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Okay, so we are moving on to wetlands, or the importance of wetlands. So what are wetlands? And I'm going to give that one to you guys. So wetlands are very efficient natural water treatment facilities. Okay, so these are efficient natural water treatment facilities. And an area is a wetland if it has the following things. If it has waterlogged soil, if water-loving plants as well, if water-loving plants are present, okay, and if it has a high water table. Okay, so what we mean, so what we mean by a high water table is that you guys know that we already have groundwater. Yeah? So groundwater is at a specific depth underground. Okay, so if we have a high water table, that means that the groundwater is found nearer to the surface of the land, to the land surface. Okay, so that's what we mean by a high water table. Okay, so an area is a wetland if it has waterlogged soil, meaning that the soil has a lot of water, and then if we find water-loving plants, and if it also has a high water table. Okay, so Talia says wetlands is an area covered by shallow water for most of the year. All right, so that is also correct. A wetland does not always, like at each season of the year, have that water. Okay. Right. So examples of wetlands are marshes, floodplains, swamps, lakes and pans, riverbanks, and riverbanks. So guys, here we just have a few examples of these wetlands. Okay, so remember we said that wetlands are efficient natural water treatments. Okay. Cool. Importance of wetlands. So number one, why are wetlands important? Because they are like giant sponges, and wetlands soak up water and store it. Okay, so wetlands, they store water, and that is one of the reasons why they are important. The next reason is because wetlands slow down flood waters, right? And flood water slows down when it flows into a wetland because the wetland is a large area that can hold a large amount of water. Okay, and then the third reason why wetlands are important is because wetlands are natural filtration systems for purifying water. Okay, so the example here is that as water flows through the wetland, it is filtered. All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Kia. I see your answer there. Okay. So summary for wetlands and, or rather for mixtures and water resources. Firstly, clean water is vitally important to ensure health of humans, animals, as well as plants. Water can be polluted by insoluble substances, soluble substances, as well as disease-causing germs, or you can say living germs. Then wetlands act as natural water purifiers because they can absorb soluble and insoluble impurities from water, and they can regulate water flow across the landscape. All right, so guys, also, if anything, just know your key concepts. If maybe there is something that you don't understand within a topic, at least know your key concepts. But overall, you guys should know everything that we have covered, because these are work that you have done in class or you have either done here at the STEM lockdown school. All right. Next topic, processes to purify water. Okay, so I hope everyone is on par. Processes to purify water. Okay, so why do we need clean water? Why do we need clean water? You can raise your hand or you can type it in the group chat. Why do we need clean water, Beggy?
Ma'am, to drink.
All right, so we need clean water to drink. Okay, thank you very much, Beggy. Okay, so Beggy says we need clean water to drink. Cebu in the group says to live. All right, let's see why we need clean water. So we need water every day because we lose water every day with our waste, with the waste our bodies produce. Okay, so we need clean water to survive, right? And we also need clean water to drink in order to survive. Okay, so plants and animals also need clean water so that they can grow and be healthy. Okay, so I also see Shakira also mentioned this point. And we need clean water for recreational activities like swimming, surfing, and water skiing. Okay, so the reason why we need clean water for these recreational activities is so that when we are participating in these activities, we do not fall ill. Okay, so imagine you go swimming in a polluted river. You are going to get sick because there's already germs in that river. All right. Okay, so how can water be cleaned? And I'm going to give this to one of you guys. How can water be cleaned? And you can mention 3 or 4 processes or ways in which we can clean water. So you guys can raise your hands or you can type in the group chat. Okay, Talia, I see your hand.
Ma'am, it can be sieving, boiling,
all right,
and adding chemicals to kill germs.
All right, beautiful. So Talia says sieving, boiling, and adding chemicals to kill germs. Well done, Talia. Thank you for that. Okay, so I see in the group, Shakira says you can use a purifier. Tim Bagati says you can filter it. Okay, well done, guys. So depending on the nature of pollution, water can be purified by several processes. One of those is sieving. So this is anything from large insoluble waste to small pebbles, which can be removed by passing the water through a sieve. And then filtering. So rather like filter paper, a water filter is used and it allows water to go through, right? And it traps small particles of matter and impurities in the water. Then another process is cycling. Okay, so gushing water slows down when it enters a deep pool or dam or a large container, and it stands for a while, and this allows particles of the sand and soil to settle at the bottom. Okay, so you guys can also remember these methods or processes when we're looking at physical means to separate soluble to separate insoluble substances, right, or insoluble mixtures. Okay, so I also see Cebu says decanting. All right, so indeed, Cebu, decanting is also one of the processes in which water can be cleaned. So in this example, for example, a container is used in it to put in water, and you allow the water to stand for a while, and you allow the small solid impurities to settle at the bottom. Then the clean water is then carefully decanted from the container. Okay, then boiling, as mentioned, I think it was by Talia, says, so in most cases, the best way to kill germs and sterilize water is by boiling it, right? And adding chemicals, finally, this is the last one. So the most common method of chemical purification is to kill germs and sterilize the water. So we usually add a teaspoon of bleach to 10 liters of water in order to purify the water. So this process is called chlorination, right? So you guys should at least know three of these processes in which you can use to clean water. All right. Okay, so let us see how municipal water is purified. So 5 processes are used to purify water. So the municipality uses 5 ways to purify water, and those include screening. Okay, so I was just asked to go back. So Mokona, you can just write the different processes now, like decanting, boiling, as well as adding chemicals, all right? Because we have already looked at what decanting is. Boiling, obviously, is just heating, and then adding chemicals. Guys, make sure your videos are off. Togello, your video is on. Thank you. All right, cool, no problem. Right, so I said that the municipality uses 5 processes to purify water. Firstly, they screen, right? So they check what type of pollution is in that water. Then they do a process called sedimentation. Then we have aeration that takes place when they are purifying water, then cycling, and finally disinfection, right? So in the Siavula textbook, you can get an explanation of these 5 processes, okay? So I'm just not gonna go through them now. And then to purify the water that we drink, the water is first filtered to remove all of the undissolved solids in the water. And then the water is treated with substances like chlorine and fluorine to kill any germs that make it, to kill any germs and to make it safe to drink. Okay, so they finally add chemicals to the water so that the water is safe to drink. So some municipalities supply the clean used water to farmers for irrigation purposes, while others return the water to rivers or to the sea. So water is recycled. Very important to note that water is recycled. Right, so here we have a picture of a plant, right? A water cleaning plant or a sewage plant. So municipal water is purified before we use it, and it is also purified after we use it. Because after we use it, then it is going to be used to irrigate farms and let's see here. So we said that some of it is used for irrigation purposes, and other municipalities return the water to the rivers and seas. Okay, so that is why we purify water after we use it, and water is also purified before we use it. Okay, very important to note that water is purified before as well as after. Okay, Key concepts. Clean water is important for people, plants, as well as animals. Water can be cleaned by processes such as sieving, filtering, settling, decanting, boiling, and adding chemicals to kill germs. The water we use in our homes is cleaned before and after we use it. Okay, so you guys should also just think of reasons why the water is cleaned before we use it and why it is cleaned after we use it. Okay, so remember to study for your test on Thursday, guys. It is all topics under life and living and all topics under meta and materials processing. Okay, so these are the textbooks that we used throughout the lesson. It's the Via Africa Natural Sciences and Technology textbook, which you guys can get on Snaplify. Okay, so you can get it on Snaplify, and the Siavula textbook, you guys can get it on the Thunderbolts Kids website. All right, so all these two websites, it's free of charge. Okay. And so just also check out the newsletter that has been sent to your guys' emails, right, with regards to the test week that we're having next week. Right, so guys, if you do have any questions, you can email the school. The email is on screen, or you can email me if you need the slides. All right, so guys, have a beautiful weekend, and remember to study for the test that you guys are writing on Monday. Right, so bye guys, and enjoy all your classes.